I think that where we stand right now, it's a very interesting time because we're really making a transition from the Skywalker saga to new eras and a new mythology of the Star Wars universe by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Star Wars, and especially the Star Wars fans, is that a lot of fans out there had issues with Kathleen Kennedy and her input for the Star Wars franchise and how she had such creative control over many of the decisions that were being made to the stories of these movies, such as, episodes 7, 8, and 9, and others alike. Now, when we look at Kathleen Kennedy, obviously a lot of changes are coming our way as we know it by Disney and Lucasfilm. Already, Disney's CEO Bob Iger stepped down just yesterday, with Bob Chapek actually taking over as the CEO of Disney, where a lot of different plans are coming into fruition here for, of course, Disney to implement into Lucasfilm by bringing in new creatives and really bringing in new stories and stuff around those lines. So, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, let's get into this because this also involves J.J. Abrams, and it is quite interesting because it really does make one wonder exactly, what could have been if Kathleen Kennedy did not have creative control over Episode 9 in any way, shape, or form, right? So, what's really intriguing about all of this related to Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, etc., is that, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker saga, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe and their new trilogy of films to come in the near future, where it's known that Disney has been making many new changes to clean house over at Lucasfilm, and that this is their big plan to create a better future for Star Wars. It's noted that during and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to the creators of Episode 9, as well as Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. However, it's explained that after the premiere of the film and some weeks after the release of Episode 9, when J.J. Abrams was questioned about Kathleen Kennedy's leadership as head of Lucasfilm, he answered many questions about her role. At one point in time, J.J. Abrams was questioned about the ending of the film, and that J.J. Abrams stated that Kathleen Kennedy actually was not fully satisfied with the first two cuts of the film, and that with each cut, the ending of the film was somewhat different, and that Kathleen Kennedy had a big role in that, and that in the end, J.J. Abrams would have loved to have seen some of those original ideas come to fruition. Also, it's noted that J.J. Abrams stated that Kathleen Kennedy also was not 100% on board with the improvised dialogue, which is why J.J. explains why they had to do some ADR work in post-production for some weeks, mainly in the second act of the film, where originally the main characters were going to have improvised dialogue by its actors. Now, additionally, when questioned about the original ideas that J.J. had, J.J. Abrams states that he had used many of Colin Trevorrow's ideas from his script for his version of the movie, but that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to steer clear from using any of Colin's original work so that J.J. could focus primarily on his own story because Kennedy had creative differences with Colin Trevorrow. So, let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy had a major problem with Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates. I don't know if you guys are aware, I'm sure a majority of you are, but let's have it anyway, is that Colin Trevorrow's original version of Episode 9 was actually titled Duel of the Fates. A far better title, in my opinion, a little bit more respectable to the overall tone of the movie, of how it's about the forces of Rey and Kylo Ren colliding. And what I like about that is that it's also a little homage to the prequel trilogy era, the iconic track by John Williams in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So, when you think about it this way, right, of how J.J. Abrams, could not use any of Colin Trevorrow's work, and how he was going to actually use those ideas, and how they were originally a part of the first two cuts of this movie before Kathleen Kennedy mainly stepped in to make creative changes, right? To really change the overall choices and the story elements. Now, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, right? The other thing that really does mind-boggle me quite a bit here is the fact that at one point in time, during one of his interviews post The Rise of Skywalker release, when J.J. Abrams was actually questioned about the ending of the movie, Kathleen Kennedy was directly responsible for changing multiple versions of the endings of Episode 9, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys remember, but this also falls in line with Daisy Ridley saying sometime before the release of the movie, I would say back in October of 2019, where she says that the ending kept on changing That was the first little hint there that there was something going on behind the scenes, and how J.J. Abrams states that Kathleen Kennedy played a role in all of that really does make one open their eyes, right? As to exactly why there's a lot of aspects in the sequel trilogy that are just a little tease, and why we didn't get as much as we really wanted to out of the sequel trilogy era. It's all because of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, like I say, moving on forward, there really is light at the end of the tunnel. The main reason is because, well, we all know that Kathleen Kennedy no longer has creative control over the existing projects in the works, such as the new movies, TV shows, etc. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.